Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the idea of not stopping even when you come across some quite difficult circumstances. So today I didn't really want to film my videos. I'm a bit ill, my nose is sort of runny. I've just done a video where I'm playing a bit of music and I had to stuff a bit of tissue paper right up my nose, and it's just sort of that's not really what you're meant to do. That's not how you're meant to look. That's not how things are meant to be. You're meant to look slick and right all the time. And maybe that's not necessarily always got to be the case. Maybe sometimes we can look a bit of a wreck, you know? Especially because illness happens to everybody. You think Brad Pitt doesn't get sick? You think Tom Cruise doesn't get ill? All of these people are slowly dying, you know? They get colds, they get flus, they get all sorts of things, right? And they're sitting there miserable and sweaty and going, oh, my head, okay? But they're still going, and obviously they take time off, okay? I'm not saying that these people are the hardest working people ever. I mean, they're not like doctors or, I don't know, pilots. Well, I don't know why pilots was the first thing that came to my mind. People that do serious proper things that are really valuable for the infrastructure of the world, you know, like the people who keep the taps running, the people who keep the roads fixed, the people that sort all of this stuff out that we just take for granted, right? Sickness happens to everybody, and illness comes, and people get weakened, and people end up dropping out, and people end up falling off the horse and they have to try and get back on it. All of these kind of things. We're all kind of hanging on by a thread a little bit. This whole planet kind of is, in a weird way, when you sort of look in behind the scenes of something, and you see kind of just how unprofessional a working environment actually is, when you kind of strip back that one layer of wallpaper and you just see the brick behind it, what it's actually made of, and it's not particularly all that professional. Because everything, every company, every business, every thing, every organization in general is just an amalgamation of people that have a goal, and sometimes that goal is unified, sometimes that goal isn't unified, and us as human beings try to come together to solve problems in novel ways, whether that's necessarily creative or that's logistical, you know, in the case of ooh, how do we figure out the sewer system for this city we're building, or the city we're building, we're in city skylines or something. But you know, the general point that I'm trying to make is that it can be quite hard for us all to continue no matter what. And obviously sometimes there'll be something that comes that just knocks you out, or a personal emergency will happen to you, or you'll get so ill that you can't even do a video like this where you have to sort of apologise for being a bit ill. You are just full on just bedridden. You know, you have all these sort of little things that can kind of get in the way and mess up with your flow. And you know, sometimes it's not about just not letting it, because sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to let it happen because it will just overpower you, and that's okay, that's fine. Sometimes that stuff happens. That's the nature of life. That's the nature of the way that things are. You know, people get colds. As I said, do you think Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt or any major hero that you might have, do you think they don't get like this? Do you think they don't have sort of bad days or off days? Of course they do. Do you think there's not a day where I don't know, just people out there are just sat on their ass, just kind of oh God, I don't want to do this. You know, there's all of these things are happening all the time, and it's just important to stay aware of that, because you can end up comparing yourself to others, because you never see the bad times of other people, and you're not going to see the bad times of me either. But I mean, proper ones. I mean, you'll see a bit of this, because I want to show that you can just continue anyway, even if you get a bit of a cold. And you know, most YouTubers, you hear a Let's Player just go, oh guys, I'm sorry for my voice a bit today, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Or, oh sorry guys, I've got a bit of a cold, so excuse my throat. They like they like doing that stuff, okay? Because it gives a sense of connectivity to the individual, that the YouTuber or whatever it is. In fact, whilst they also get to be more honest, they also get to brand themselves as more honest. So honesty is a form of branding when it comes to this sort of public speaking sort of thing, because everything is a small form of manipulation, even what I'm doing now. So don't take everything that I'm saying at any kind of face value. Don't believe a word that I say, just the same way that you shouldn't believe a word that any of the other people say. Take the words at face value, think, do they apply to my life? If they do, then keep watching more of the videos and let the person sort of worm their way into your brain. And if you don't think that they're helping you, then just forget about them and find someone else. We've all got the people that we attach to. We've got the personality types that work for us. All of these kind of things. So all you need to do really is just go for what works for you, keep trying, and don't sort of stop even if you come into a bit of a hard time, and don't stop until you are properly boof like that, okay? Because once you get like that, boof, that's when you know you've done so much that you can actually rest easy. At least that's the way that I see it. That's probably not a healthy way of doing it, just going flat out until you collapse. But why not? Why not try things? Why not go for the heavy hitters? Every time I've taken a risk in my life, even if the risk hasn't paid off or it's completely catastrophically blown up in my face, I haven't regretted taking that risk. I've done some stupid things in my life, and I don't regret any of them really, because they all help to build you up to the person that you become. Everything is a stepping stone that you build upon from there. Every single life experience is necessary to make the person that you are today. And the more life experiences you have, the more developed your own self and sense of self will become, because you have the backlog in your brain to actually understand who you are in various situations. You know what you're like in, I don't know, an intimate conversation. You know what you're like in a group situation. You know what you're like at a concert. You know what you're like at, all these sort of a job interview or whatever. You know what you're like in various situations. And as you learn yourself, then you're able to become the truest version of yourself, because that is something that you need a tiny bit of like exercise to actually do, because it's not just about being yourself, it's about knowing that you're being yourself and not feeling like you're faking any parts of your personality to appease others, because it's very easy to sort of do that. It's incredibly easy to just sort of become someone that kind of like, what do you think? They think I'm an idiot, or they probably think I'm really boring. We all get those little things, those little anxieties. Right now my brain's thinking, oh God, they must think I'm like fucking stupid for filming a video like this. It's fucking rank. I mean, how many videos just leave that in that shouldn't be left in? Really, I should have jump cut around it, but I'm not going to, because that's the sort of thing that is real. That's the sort of thing that happens from time to time, and it's important. It's not necessarily important to see, but it's just interesting to know that we all come into these weird little situations. Like we're all vulnerable in various sort of ways. We all have our own flaws and our problems, and sometimes they get big, sometimes they get small. Sometimes we're on a high, sometimes we're on a low. The ebb and the flow of life just continues forever and ever and ever. And sometimes Mother Nature will give you a hell of a lot of stuff on a big silver platter, and sometimes it will sort of go, hey, come on now, you've been eating quite a lot. Are you not full? Yeah, sorry, I need the plate back. Well, it's just I'm doing the washing up, you see, so because I need to load the dishwasher. I'd rather get that one in. I need to put that one in first at the back, because that's how it sort of works. I don't know what I'm talking about now, really. There's just an improv about dishwashers. But yeah, the overall point that I'm making is, in terms of being yourself, think of it like this. You've got one life. Let's say your life is 80 years long, okay? Now you're going to spend about 25 to 30 of them years, probably about 20 to 25 of those years, sleeping. So really, you've got about 60 years. So how do you want to use those 60 years? Do you want them to be filled with moments where you can look back on and feel like, I am me, I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of who I am? Or is it going to be a case where you look back and you kind of feel like you were faking it the entire time? And because is it not better to be a genuine, sort of honest, weak-willed person than it is to be a fake, strong person? Who behind closed doors is really much weaker than they make themselves out to be. Is it not better to just be upfront about who you are and just, yeah, I know I'm not perfect, so what? No one is. Rather than to sort of try and project something, because that's an aspirational thing. You're projecting it because you want to feel like you're going to get there someday, so it's a challenge to get to that destination, that ideal version of you. And there is no version of you that is ideal other than the one that exists at the moment, because right now you are in control of this brain fucking thing that's in your head. So you can go out there and actually see what you're going to do with it. You can put it in weird little situations. You could go out right now, go into the centre of town, or find the nearest city to you and just have a mad one on the town. If you got no money, fucking dive into an overdraft. You could just do that. You know, or if you can't do that, you could take out a payday loan or something. Like, obviously I'm not saying these are good ideas, but I'm saying you do have the world at your fingertips at any 1 second. You can do a lot more than you think. And sometimes you got to do stupid things in order to put yourself in the right positions. Sometimes you need to go through life making mistakes in order to learn from them and to see what's going to happen. Because that's just the nature of life. You know, sometimes life works in fun ways. Sometimes life just is a pain in the ass. And that's just the nature of it, really. Like, so yeah, wrapping it back round to me being ill. I'm quite ill at the moment. I'm going to shine this light on me just so you can get an idea. Yeah, it's not great at the moment, I must say. What the issue is, I think, is it's that. I can't really do much talking, so I'm going to keep doing these videos, but I'm also worried that it's going to be like a bit of a turn off for viewers. I feel like the audience retention is going to go down as I fucking sniff and gob my way through the videos. But, you know, what else am I supposed to do? Do it in voiceover? I feel like, nah, I don't want to do all that. I'd rather keep it honest. I'd rather keep it like this is the genuine version. And at some point I'll get over the illness, and some point I'll get ill down the line in the future. We all get ill. It's whatever, you know. But as long as you're just sensible about it, who cares? So it's not COVID, by the way. I know that was already I know in 2025 nearly now, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, it's not COVID. I think it's just a cold. Yeah. So basically, the point of this video was you can sort of do much more than you think you can, even when you're at your weakest. So that's about the video. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I quite like this sort of newer angle. I'm going to do more of these. So take care, everybody. Bye bye. Hey up, everybody. My name is Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about success and the image of success and you know, comparisons to yourself. You know how we all kind of have that thing. I'm sure, at least I do, but I'm sure other people have it as well. You know, say this is my phone, right? And you know, I'm scrolling through my phone, scrolling through Instagram, and I'm lying back. I'm like, oh, my life feels a wreck. I haven't gotten everything done. I feel like such a failure. All that kind of, you know, self-defeating kind of stuff that you know, inevitably ends up happening, even if you try to fight it. Scrolling through your phone, and you're going through and you're seeing other people, you're seeing some influencers and stuff, and they're all going out and they're having a great time. You see like your friends and on Instagram, whatever, and they're having a brilliant time. You see them going on dates, you see them going on holiday, you see the selfies in front of the beautiful fucking rolling hills, and it's like all, you know, inspirational messages on the bottom, and you know, like all that kind of stuff. And this all gets perpetuated and cycled around, regurgitated again and again and again. And it can often feel like a lot of it is phony, a lot of it is not real. And I think the reason for that is because we've turned inspiration and self-improvement into a business model. We've turned it into something that can be profited from. So even these kind of videos, I'm just as guilty of it. You know, I'm giving off some kind of image of success, someone that goes out and is able to just talk about, like, you know, you can do it, blah blah blah, you know, you can be you know, you can do it, you get all that kind of stuff. You know, I do these kind of motivational kind of videos, and you know, they're just the same kind of bollocks that everyone else is kind of saying at the end of the day. So this, you know, motivational, like, feel good kind of stuff has just become a business venture for people. And I kind of wanted to dispel that myth because it's been on my mind for a few days. And I think today it really came to a head because
I try and get 2 videos out a day. I haven't backlogged anything or anything like that, which I really maybe should have done, because these videos are starting to take quite a while. So I went out today, and I like to go to like a park or like some fun kind of location and just do a bit of a talk. I did one where I was like stood on the edge of a precipice, and I'm just kind of standing there, and I was talking about the idea of burnout and like you don't want to fall off. So, and in real life I didn't want to fall off as well, so it kind of added a bit of conflict. Did a video about, you know, reminiscing about childhood, and I did it in a playground, you know, that kind of thing. And it's nice to get out of this and not have this as my backdrop, because it's not, you know, I don't want to keep filming videos here, it's not particularly interesting. And you know, I went out today to get some videos, and long and short of it is those videos aren't coming out because they are shit. They were terrible. Didn't know what to say. Felt like I'd exhausted all my words. I felt like I couldn't get a good shot. I felt like everything I did was just failing. And you know what? We're going to cut to some footage from today. I don't think it's usable. I don't think it's any good. If you can see this is the second take of this. This is the first time I had to do a second take, because I went out and I failed, and I did a whole video about what to do if you come into failure. And that's what this video is. But if you zoom in on it, right? Do you see my face isn't actually in focus? And like, if it was a tiny bit out of focus, I wouldn't really mind, but it's so out of focus that it's really distracting me. And I felt like the shot composition wasn't particularly interesting, and like, this is slightly better. But, and also I wasn't particularly happy with the way that I was wording everything and the way that everything kind of came out. I felt like I was kind of rambling and sort of giving this very mixed message. And I think what's important about this little back and forth between me, the creator, and you, the audience, is you're coming to watch someone that can try and make you feel better. You're watching these as a bit of a feel-good thing, or to get some like insight into, I don't know, my life or my worldview, or not really about mine in itself, but how it can apply to you, which is the same way that I watch plenty of other creators, and they do similar kind of videos where they just talk and they try and figure out their worldview, and I kind of like that kind of thing. And what a lot of these channels don't show, and what a lot of these influencers that you might look at don't show, is when everything fails, when everything falls apart, when you don't have a solid video and you need to scramble to kind of make something as quick as possible. You don't get shown the dark side. Even, you know, in a behind-the-scenes documentary, there might be like the sad part of like, we made this film, then there's a sad part. Play some piano music, dun 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 dun, and it all felt so hard. But then I got backup, oh baby, and everything went brilliantly. Hey, I was trying to do like the little dance from Gil from The Simpsons. I'm sitting down, so it doesn't really work. But you know, you don't get shown that kind of honesty. And I'm not showing you true honesty, because for me, true honesty right now would be, oh God, what am I gonna do? You know, even that wasn't completely fake, but that's what I'm kind of thinking. That's what I was thinking right before I rolled the camera. I was like, I need to get this done, I need to get this video, I need to get this video, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. I need to call this person, I need to call this person, I need to go for this call, I need to make sure I get to this thing for 7, I need to make sure that this thing's done, I need to get more of the script done, I need to prepare all the shooting, because we're doing 4 days of shooting next week, and we're, you know, like, there's a lot going on, you know, in terms of preparation and designating each of these things a space in my mind. And it gets to a point where I did this metaphor, and this, you might have seen me put a Fanta can on my head. The reason I put the Fanta can on my head is like, so you got this one thing in your mind, right? And I was talking about the idea of catastrophizing. And I think with this, it's more like you got one thing, and then you got another thing, and then you've got another thing, and then you've got like another thing, and then you've got another thing, and then you've got like one really big thing, and like, you know, I can't even let go because it will all crumble, right? But if I just have the one little thing, it's manageable, you know? So it's about not letting too much get on your head. Don't let too much occupy your mind, and don't stress yourself out. Don't worry so much about things, because when you see these influencers and these creators and these people that give off such an image of success, they're just like you. Even if they're rich, inside the mind, they still work the same way as you. Like Jeff Bezos still has to wake up in the morning and go on his phone and probably ends up scrolling through Instagram and seeing stuff he doesn't want to see. And, like, I don't know, who's another famous one? Bill Gates, he still has to, deal with various failures. They won't be the same kind of failures that you would have. They'd be different kind of failures for sure. And they would certainly come from a more, wealthy point of view. And it's a totally different world, obviously. But failure still comes, flaws still happen. And I think trying to compare yourself to what you see as like people who are doing better than you is just setting yourself up for failure at the end of the day. When all you should really need to worry about is yourself and how well you're doing. And, check in with your friends and stuff. I'm not saying just be a selfish person. I'm saying don't worry so much about the success of others, because if you don't, it's just not necessary. And for the most part, their success is bollocks. It's not true. It's an image. It's a projection of their inner insecurities. You take someone like, I don't know, Logan Paul, for instance. He seems like he's got a lot of controversies at the moment, but you would look at him and think, that's a successful looking guy who, apart from the fact he's, a bit of I can't say for legal reasons, but he looks like he's got all his ducks in a row, even if I don't like him. But I don't have my ducks in a row, and I like me. What's wrong with me? Why is he doing so well? And it's like, well, he's not doing that well either. He comes in little stresses. He has bad days. He has times where, maybe he does a podcast and the audio came out a bit weird, or like he did a podcast and it just felt like, this is a crap podcast. We can't upload this, or, that kind of thing. Or maybe him and Jake Paul did a video and they didn't really work out. It kind of didn't look all that good, or maybe the sound wasn't right, or maybe just it was a boring video and people wouldn't have watched it and the idea was kind of naff to begin with, and I don't know why I even got so into this idea. Oh, well, don't worry about it, we can just do another video. And they can just do another video. And whatever failure that you might have just come into recently, think of your most recent failure. Think of the thing that most recently set you back, and how did you deal with it? How did it make an impact on your life? How did it affect your flow and your groove? Because if you lose the groove, then it's much harder to actually gain it again. If you're sort of like this and then you stiff up, it's harder to kind of get back into it. But as time goes on, you slowly get back into it, and you slowly get back into it, and it works out. So if you can make preventative measures for failure, definitely do. But don't worry so much if failure does come, because failure is inevitable and you can't escape it, but it will come, and it won't be as bad as it looks. It won't be as bad as it seems from afar when you catastrophize about it and you worry about what happens when you fail. The failure will happen, and then the failure will go away and it will become part of the past, and your future will still be there waiting for you. So I think to kind of wrap all this up, if you're someone that is looking at people on social media and are worrying about yourself in comparison to them, maybe take some time away from social media. I've uninstalled Instagram. I never was on Twitter really anyway. And the only thing now is bloody YouTube, because you can't uninstall YouTube on your phone. So you go on YouTube and then the shorts end up coming up, so you can't really get rid of them. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But I've managed to get rid of everything else. And limit your time online if it's affecting you negatively. Limit these sort of things just so that you can not feel this need to compare, because it's an artificial need. It's not even a need. It's an artificial thing that you end up just doing, because you don't need to see these things. You don't need to see what's going on the other side of the screen, because at the end, you're just a number to them. You're not important. You're not anything, and the worry that you have in your mind is irrelevant to everybody. And it's a bit sad to think about, really, but it is the way that it is. And all we can do is really just try to make the best of it and know that things will be alright, and things aren't as bad as they seem, even if they look pretty grim. I think that's going to be it. I don't think there's anything else I really need to add. Yeah, sorry that this is a bit of a mess of a video. Sorry that you got 2 videos in the same room today. But, you know, that's what ends up happening when you... I'm trying to make the best of what's happened today, the fact that today's filming was a failure. And this is the path that's going forwards. And tomorrow, hopefully... I'm going out tomorrow. I'm going into London tomorrow. So I'm going to hopefully get some fun videos out of that. I'm going to try and get back for the early evening so I can edit them fast and stuff. I need to get back early anyway because I'm doing the filming on Friday. So... expect 2 videos from sort of central London area kind of tomorrow. And then, yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for, you know, putting up with the complete rambly nature of these kind of things. And I hope that you can take something away from them that's of any use to you. And I hope that, you know, you go through life, and once you get bored of me at a certain point. I hope that the general message of just being yourself, not worrying so much, and taking life from a fairly jovial point of view, I hope that these things that can stick with you, because you know the world is a big scary place, and all you can do is you can carve out your own little nice little oasis in there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great night. Take care.
Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to do a video that has actually been requested for quite some time, and it's a colour grading tutorial. So I thought I would actually expand that and just make an entire video on the editing of these videos. So here I have one video ready to go. This one is about music, and as you can see, if I go into it, you see that there's these kind of very high spikes. That's me clapping. Right, and you see that it's in full sort of screen, right? So what I tend to do, I get these. These are 133 silent film. You literally just go on, you just Google 4:3 overlay, right? Here we are. I think I used this one, I'm not sure. They're all the same, it's just black bars. So yeah, you click download on this, right? There it is. Where's 4:3? What's the difference between vintage and normal? There's that, and then there's a vintage one. Should we try the vintage one? Let's do something a bit wacky. Try something new. So here we have our 4:3 vintage one. Let's see if this is any good. Okay, so it's obviously one that you need to shrink down or something like that. So you go into effect controls and you do scale. And here we are. Oh no. No, I don't like it. If it had some movement to it, it would be alright, but nah. We're going to stick with the classic 4:3 aspect ratio. So here is one where I tried to do a video, and I got about 2 minutes in, I realised it was a load of shite. So that's me clapping again, just to sort of tell myself in the editing process, don't bother with the first stuff. Don't include that because it's a load of shite. So I'm going to just get rid of all of that and put a cut there just so that I can remind myself, because I need to now go in and get my, where have I put it? Is it in the downloads? Yeah, here it is. So let me just go into this, copy this over onto here. So I've got the Jonny Mozza project here, and this is just older videos, so I don't even know what these videos are. Oh, it's when I went to, when I wore this, it was probably the last day where I could actually do this and just wear something nice and small and you know, not 4 jackets. So now I wear the same jacket in every single video, and it's a bit, I'd like to have some variation, you know. So here we are. Okay, so it looks like I stopped the recording on the, no, it doesn't actually. Why is it? Thanks. So wait, what is this? I'm going to be doing a compilation video regarding... Oh, it's that bloody thing. Okay, that means that I need to actually go in and... I mean, it's somewhere here.
17.2. It's 17.2. That's 17. Oh, it's 17.1. Sorry. So I go onto this. I upload it from my phone. So right now it's recording on this. So I don't know if you can see that. This is an app called, what's it called? Easy Voice Recorder. They all probably do the same thing, but that's the one I use. And so that's currently uploading. Oh no, it's downloading, sorry. There we are. So that's going to download. Cool, 90 megabytes. And that just goes into this. This looks like it's going to be a decent sized video. I prefer when it's cloudy days because, as you can see, it's kind of consistent throughout. Towards the end, it starts to get a little bit dark. I tend to film these videos a bit stupidly close to sunset, which means that I'm fighting the time. And so as I'm talking, I tend to slowly get cast in shadow and darkness. So that's a little bit irritating, to be honest. And the way that I do that is, I'll show you that at the end. So stay tuned for the video that's still going on. So if I go into the Jonny Mozza project, 26, cool. And then I go into downloads, right, here's 17.1, brilliant. So put that in there, excelente. And now we got to sync this up. So the way that you sync these up, you go on show audio time units. You see that? That's very important, that. Click that because it allows you to get really precise, more so than if you just stick with the frames, because then there's only so far you can zoom in, and I can move it like this. And you see, I can't quite get it to match, right? Bit irritating, right? So if I go in, bam, I can match it exactly perfectly. Tiny bit over there. That looks about right. Cool, sweet. So now I take that off because if I cut with that activated, it kind of leaves like the audio like 1.5 or 1 and like 1,000th of a frame over, rather than, you know, just being exact like that, which is what I want. Well, a nice clean sweep, clean slice, sorry. Everybody. And I like to get it right into it because it's all about the engagement as well. If people see it and there's just like me, just like, hey up everybody, my name's etc., then you might click off in that extra little second. It makes the body sort of go, ooh, or the brain go, ooh, I can't be bothered with this. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison. Okay, sweet, that all looks good. And then I go to the end. This one, what do I say at the end? I can't hear all that either. Oh, it's a joke that kind of didn't work, so it doesn't need that bit. What does that say? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. So this is the real audio. Right on time. Yeah, I was trying to make a joke about how I needed to catch that train, and obviously I don't need to catch that train. Like the idea that the train's speeding past is a dumb joke. Didn't work. So I go into the video and I go to -30. I like to have a little bit of ambiance, room sound is what it's known as professionally. And then on here, so I'm going to just show you what goes on here, just so that I can give you an idea. So I've got a single band compressor, which I think is just set to voice level, and I think that's just the bog standard thing. I'm going to bring that down like a tiny bit. Don't really need to. And then it's got a parametric equalizer. That basically just cuts off the harsh sounds. If I show you, right, here's whatever video this is. Films, we go up north. Oh, it's this video, okay. So this is what the video sounds like with the effects. And we'd be filming a feature film, but in between we would film these little like quite fun shorts, and we would just do them in a day or a couple hours. See, so it doesn't like change much, but it just gives it that tiny little something. I think the compression helps to give it a little bit more of a professional, YouTube-y kind of feel. So I like to go on gain and just maybe 7.5 is what I tend to go for. I want to get the bars up here on the side to around -7. If people enjoy what you're doing, they're going to enjoy what you're doing. Sounds a bit much. Sounds a bit much. I'm going to try one lower. If you've got $1 million behind you or you've got $1 behind you, it really doesn't matter, because what you are, what you're trying to do and what you're trying to create is unique to you, and no one else can replicate that but you. And that in itself is sweet. So now the bit that people actually want to hear about, which is the color grading. So I'm going to go in and it's different on the laptop. The laptop is here. I sometimes do edits on this. Sometimes I edit 2 videos at the same time. One on here and one on here, and I let this export and then work on this while that's exporting, and then this exports, and then I work on video here, and then I just kind of switch back and forth. That's if I've got a big backlog. Say if I've done like 10 videos in a day. Which I've only done twice so far, so ooh, that was a solid crack of the back, that. Nice. So I like to go into my LUTs. If I'm on the computer, I've got some LUT packs that I quite like. I don't think chemical's going to work for this. Let's see. Nah, not keen. Not keen. Let's see. I don't think neon. Neon's kind of all right. Neon could be okay if I bring down the contrast, bring up the shadows, bring up the blacks a tiny bit. I want my black jacket to not be completely pitch black. So sometimes a bit of faded film helps with that. I think this little bit of faded film here is what gives it, because I've noticed a lot of people saying that it's got kind of a 70s thing to it. And I think maybe the faded film is why, because I mean, look, it's a camera from 2012. It's not from like 1972. It's a solid bit of kit, that. So I don't sharpen, I don't do vibrance. I like to mess around. Ooh, normally I don't mess around with the saturation, but that actually looks kind of good. I kind of like that. Okay, that's all right. And then what I tend to do, don't know if it's going to work on this one. Do you see how it gives it a little bit of a pop? It separates me from the background slightly. So I just bring the bottom bit of the curve down. That's the shadows down there. And then the further you go, it gets towards the mids and then the highlights up here. And I presume you already know basics of color correction. I'm not going to explain these things like you don't know. Let's see if a bit of cool. A bit of cool does work. Yeah, bringing it down a little bit. That's quite nice. I like giving them a bit, because it's winter. I want to give it a bit of a wintry sort of misery feel. And because lately, been getting into this Polaroid sort of thing. I don't have a Polaroid camera, but I enjoy Polaroids now, and I enjoy the sort of look that comes with a Polaroid. Hang on, let me get an actual picture. Oh, they're stuck in a really awkward place. Hang on. It's coming. So there you are. So that's the Polaroid. Do you see how it's got this kind of greenness to it? There's a heavy greenness to it. So it doesn't look like real. Like when I started color grading, I've been color grading for a few years, not professionally, literally just like this. I'm not a professional color grader by any stretch of the imagination. So why people are asking me for a color grading tutorial is honestly beyond my comprehension. I was always trying to replicate reality with more contrasty sort of looks and stuff like that. And I've kind of lately been using these videos as a way of expanding my creativity and just trying new things. Like I don't always do it this way. Sometimes I go in this, and sometimes I recently experimented doing the bleach HDR. That sometimes gives it a nice high contrasty sort of late 80s, early 90s kind of grunge look. I'm fairly happy with that. Let's compare it to the original. I think it needs, let's have a look at the lumetri. It might be a little bit low. It's a tiny bit low. Let's see. Bring the highlights up, I think. Ooh, yes, now we're talking, Right, copy that onto the other clip, because it's just a continuation of the same clip. Ooh, yeah, so now what we're gonna have to do, I do this, and where does it stop working? Kind of irritating that it stops right on the curve, because I can't do a transition there. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to bring up the exposure by, yeah, about a bit less, about that. Let's bring the blacks up a tiny bit, too much, about right, yes. And then bring those up ever so slightly, yeah, that looks good. Oh, actually, bring that back down, bring that a bit higher. Maybe try putting a third one in there. You just try something. If it feels like it's not working, it's nice to just... I liked a bit of that, but that was too much. Oh, okay. The end of the videos are a bit harder because it's usually darker. So, okay, I'm all right with that. It's not brilliant, but I'm not out to try and get the perfect color grade. With these videos, I literally spend maybe 10 minutes max on the color grade, and that's why I'm so shocked that people are asking for a color grade tutorial, because this is kind of it. This is not how, I don't think this is how you're meant to do it, by the way, in terms of blending two different color grades on the same clip. I don't think you're meant to use a cross dissolve for it, but I do, and no one's like pointed it out and gone, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." So I'm fine with it. So that is a, what's that? How long is that? 15-minute video. I'm pretty happy with that. Also, I've forgotten what this video is about. I recorded this today. Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. I know whose Lessons in Confidence it is. Get on with it. About making music and how I made 20 albums in 3 years. Oh yeah, that was it. Okay, sweet. So then I go on here, export. The settings are already saved for me. I might actually need to bring it up. Oh no, I've fucked the settings. So let's go to 14, and then this one goes to like not 62. I said 17. Whatever. Okay, and then I just give it a name. What should I call it? How I made 20 albums in 3 years. Actually, just before I actually do that, I'm going to go in and make the thumbnail. So what I do the thumbnails in Premiere because it's just easier. And you can too. Sweet, that looks good. Oh, I like the way that I'm kind of looking up at the text. I think there'll be a frame that I can use there. So I use the Futura font. Sometimes I use the League Spartan font, but they do the same sort of thing. Shadow, bring the shadow most of the way to 100%, make it black. Let's see, bring that down, bring that up. So bring that down a little bit. Okay, let's see, let's try 150. 150 looks like it'll work. Ooh, just very nice. I like putting them at the top because no one can, like the timestamp thing on the YouTube thumbnail doesn't get in the way or anything like that. So I like putting them at the top. It's where people are also used to seeing them on text and thumbnails and stuff. I feel like I could get away with 155. Yeah, I can get away with 155. Okay, I can't. I need to maybe do a bit of kerning to it. So let's maybe say -10. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Actually, sod that. I'm going to do it in lowercase and make it a bit more like it's a personal thing. Single full stop. Ooh, I like that. And then you want it to not quite be centered. You don't want centered for this sort of thing. Okay, sweet. And now it's just a case of now I'm just trying to find a good frame. So okay, I'm going to shut that up because that's going to be kind of irritating. I need to find one where I look. Ooh, I might be actually pointing there. Point. So now I just need to get. Oh, please point in the way I want. No, my hair's covering it. So no, I need. Plus, I need the face. Ooh. That looks good. That's got kind of a casual look. Now, I take it and drag it down and make sure that you can actually read the text. I'm struggling, so I think it needs more shadow. So we're going to expand the shadow out a little bit. A little bit like that. Nope, not that much. Not that much. Nope. I think 8 was good. Now let's just go down, make sure that you can actually read it. And you can too. Maybe this. Let's try an ellipses. No, that looks stupid. Okay, sweet, we got it. That's the thumbnail, and now I just save it as a JPEG screenshot. You press that little button there. Cool, that can fuck off. And export, and what did I call? I think I copy pasted it, but I might have gotten rid of the copy paste. No, how I made 20 albums in 3 years. Sorted. So, there we are. That's the video. Exporting now. That's going to be out, let's see, it's the 13th today. It will be out 14th at 2:30 AM my time, which, because I've got more of an American audience, I think, that works out to like evening for them. Plus, for the British audience, if someone's struggling to go to sleep, 2:30 kind of works because they see the video and like they're struggling to sleep. And it's a calming voice sort of thing, so they might think, oh, I might give it a shot. So that's why I upload at this sort of time. I've experimented with different times. I try different things. And yeah, that's how you do it. There's really not much to it. There's no magic behind it. And I'm not a professional color grader. And I hope now that you've seen behind the curtain, you can go in the comments and point out exactly how I'm doing it incorrectly. Because I would love to learn and improve my craft as a color grader and actually get better at this. So that I can create better videos, and then take this and extrapolate this skill towards more professional films and stuff like that, where I need to do more of an actual in-depth color grade and get everything actually perfected and so on and so forth. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Let me know what you thought of the color grading in particular. If you have any tips or tricks that you'd like to present unto me and the rest of us, please share them in the comments. Yeah, thank you very much for sticking around, and have a good rest of the day, and I suppose a good rest of the year, really, because what's that, the 13th, so there's not much left. So go out there, have a good rest of the year, and stay safe. Bye.
Cool.
Hey up, everybody. My name is Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I'm joined with Hadid, who is the co-director, and I'm joined by Oscar, who plays the character of Oliver. And today I thought we would just do a little bit of a talk about, some various stories and just ideas and things about Jonny Mozza, the times that we've had so far, that kind of thing. So this is now day 6, so we're pretty far and a way into this film at this point.
Quite deep into it at this point.
How are you sort of feeling about what's been going on sort of so far, like in terms of, and you can be brutally honest, because this is one, how you have them YouTube videos where it's like, ooh, everything went so well, they do that, and you see them sort of behind the scenes vlogs and all that sort of stuff. I just remember I can look into the camera on this. So you kind of have all that sort of stuff. We have just been filming a shot. This is exactly the shot that's going to be in a scene. We haven't moved the tripod even slightly. It's an important scene of the film as well. So yeah, it's going to look like this. But sorry, I'm rambling now. So in terms of how things are going so far, what do you sort of...
Like, so far I think it's been going like pretty swimmingly. It's been pretty straightforward. Obviously coming on to set and kind of improvising and kind of figuring things out. Like, we have a game plan when we come on set, but we figure out the details as we go along, and I feel like it's giving quite a unique look to our film. It's giving it a unique character to it.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's embracing the chaos, essentially.
Absolutely.
Because most of these sort of films, the scene that we've done it in about an hour, and most films would have done 5 hours minimum for this sort of thing, which, I bet some people could probably turn their nose up at, but I feel like what's more important is the authenticity of a film sort of like this.
Absolutely.
Get into the nitty gritty of this sort of thing and seeing the real world a little bit. We're trying to convey that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very real. It's very original way of filming a film, I think. And hardly anything is scripted. Everything's just on the go. You're saying something like this. It's just come up with your way of saying it.
Well, it's the scene we did. Sorry.
Works out really well for the scenes too.
Because we were scripting stuff in the first few bits, but we weren't really treating the script as a dictator. We were kind of just things would change in the moment, because that's what happens. Plans change, things go wrong, and then you adjust to those sort of things. That's what we're doing with this film. Is it's a flexible film. There's so many ways you can turn things around and make it good from the flaws that come out of it, rather than being paralyzed by the flaws that can come and not being able to work around them. We've basically, instead of driving down a little alleyway, we're driving in a big airport strip.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel not having it completely scripted and then coming and kind of winging it, and then the fact that this doesn't feel so stressful, it's giving a lot of creative freedom to everyone to kind of just interpret things in their own way. Most people would say that that might be a little bit too chaotic, but I feel like it's this script, the story itself, I think it fits really well into that style.
It's quite a chaotic story, to be fair,
yeah.
but also quite simple. And yeah, you are right. It is certainly, it can be possibly alienating to people to have such a chaotic sort of film set. But I think we've all done the professional thing. We've all done very professional stuff. So it's not like we're incapable of being professional, which I think is what makes this so good, because we're all at the top of our game. We're all fucking you are some of the most talented people ever, genuinely. And it's so amazing to actually make something like this, where we can almost just be ourselves. There's not that role, I am the co-director, I am the director, I am the actor. that kind of thing. Obviously, like, you know, the camera person and like their focus is on the camera, but like I love when people throw in ideas and that kind of thing. That's what makes this so fun, because the world is collaborative, so why not have the film be like collaborative as well? So remember when we went to Warren Farm and we did that sort of day?
That was a good day.
That-
Like the overall, like the place we found, that location, and just like using that little tiny little handy cam to get that one shot. I feel like when we actually get it out, it's gonna look so good.
Yeah, that's the first scene of the film, by the way, as well, that bit. Also, that's a good reason to cast yourself in a film, or to like, just to be, you know, have you as the person that does things. Because I don't have to worry so much about like harming myself or like getting in my own way. I don't have to adjust a schedule around myself, sort of thing. That's why I didn't get another person to play Jonny Mozza, for instance. It's funny, yesterday I went to the Hope in Richmond, and I saw someone there who played a really good gig, and he did this thing where, like, because the Hope has this kind of square bar, you can kind of circle around it, and he had a guitar that was kind of like not plugged in. It had like one of those wireless Bluetooth things, and he was just playing. He went around the entire thing, and he was just playing the whole way through, just soloing. It was the fucking coolest thing ever. And I was looking at it, I was like, fucking hell, he could have been Jonny Mozza. He could have actually been Jonny Mozza. There's a good chance he'll be in the film as well. He's a really nice guy. I won't name him yet, but you'll see him when you see him. But yeah, that's why, because I was climbing up onto that roof, like there's that light that's on the roof in that place, and like I had to set all that up. We hung the curtain up with fucking gaffer tape, you know, shit that, like, you know, if OSHA saw it, they'd have some words to say.
Yeah, they would not be happy about that.
But I'm only putting myself in harm's way. I refuse to ever let anyone else be put in harm's way, because obviously. So it's just so rewarding to do things in this kind of manner, to embrace the chaos, to embrace the madness that comes our way, because it's so satisfying seeing this film get built up over time. And this is why, if you're making a film, particularly if you're just starting out, I know you've probably got so many good, complicated ideas. Try and avoid the complications to begin with, because it can corner you. And if you don't have the experience to get around those corners or get away, because I'm imagining like the zombies are coming at you and you're in the corner. If you don't have the ability to fucking whack them zombies, you're stuck, you're going to get eaten. But with this, we can't corner ourselves, and we know how to fight zombies. So, it's pretty good. I don't know what that point is.
Yeah, I feel like I got lost in the point as well a little bit over there.
Oh, that's part of these videos.
Zombies.
Well, in general, the idea is just like, you can get around hurdles. You can always get around a hurdle as long as you put the odds in your favour. If you stack the odds in your favour, then you can do things really well. It's better to set out to make something easy, because it will always be harder than you think it's going to be. And just run with it, and run with the madness, and run with what goes on, because every day has been much harder than I expected in the best possible way. Like, it's just so much fun doing this for everyone, and yeah, I really can't wait to show you this film. It's going to be so good, and we've got so many ideas coming around that I wish I could just tell you now, but spoilers. So yeah, do you have anything that you wanna add to maybe wrap this up, or anything you want to promote, or anything like that?
I feel like I like, I say what I have to say about like, how I feel about working on this film. I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot.
Fucking oath.
Yeah, a lot of learning, and it's just a really fun experience.
Yeah, it's been pretty chill.
Fuck yeah. Well, I feel like with that, we've probably got everything that we need to say said in this video. So thank you all so much for watching this. I love you all, and thank you all so much for engaging with this project and this film. And I know it's just absolutely mental, but I love that sort of fact, and apparently other people do as well. So thank you so much for joining along on the ride, Jonny Mozza's spooktacular ride. Well, Halloween's over now, but it's going to be great, and I can't wait to show you all. It's going to be so fucking fun. So thank you so much, and thank you so much to Hadid for joining in on this project. You were actually when I met you about a month and a half ago at a networking event. Honestly, that it flooded me with ideas. We missed most of the networking event because we were just spitballing ideas, talking so much. Shivani as well is so fucking amazing to be working with her, and to everyone else on this film. I'm not going to start naming names because then you miss a name and then it's like, oh, I feel bad because I've not named them. You know, yeah, I love everyone that's doing this, and I can't wait to show you what's going on because I'm having the fucking best time of my life, and I'm so glad to have such talented people on board. So thank you guys so much.
Happy to be on board.
Love you both. Love everyone that's working on this film, and I love all of yous. You're all fucking great. So keep grinding at it. Keep making mad shit. Keep trying weird new ideas because a weird idea is a good idea. Because whenever you try something a bit odd, that's when you're going to find something that works. So yeah, I mean they always say like the point of insanity is trying the same thing again and again. So try something different. Yeah. And with that, take care everybody. Have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. That's the second time I've said that now. Bye. Shouldn't be smoking on the camera. YouTube's gonna have a fit at us.